Hey guys, so sorry there wasn't a video last week. I ended up having some technical difficulties and couldn't sort things out in time, so I apologize for that. But from now on, it should stay pretty consistent on Thursdays since I got a new camera and that should work a lot better. So, don't worry. Alright, so as most of you know, since about mid-June, I've been working down at the football training center on campus as a custodian, and last week was my last week there. So I figured I would go over what I learned from working as a custodian and impart that knowledge onto you guys so you won't need to be a custodian to learn life lessons that being a custodian would teach you, because I'm going to teach you instead. Pseudo-custodial job. So one of the things that I learned is that you'll have days where you are constantly busy and have to be working all day. You don't really have time to like sit down for a second and just kind of collect yourself because there's just so much that has to be done. But then 3 days later, you'll have a day where you have over half an hour with nothing to do and you have to go and look for things to do. You have to be ready for both of those days because you got to be ready to be constantly working, and you also have to be able to either take that time to relax or be able to find something to do when you have the extra time, find the small things that need to be done. So that can kind of work for everyday life as well, because there are going to be days where you are just swamped with a lot to do, but then you'll have a Saturday one weekend where there's nothing you can do, and you have to be able to handle both days, even though handling a day with nothing isn't really that hard. Like, most people will be glad to have all the time off, but you can't expect it to be one way all the time. And the majority of the time, it's just going to be in the middle anyways, so it's not a huge worry, just something to point out. Along with that one, I also learned that things can change really easily. Not that I didn't really know that already, but confirmed it more for a workspace. Because in the last 3 weeks or so that I was there, we had our daily routine sort of schedule changed about 3 times because they couldn't figure out what worked best, so they kept giving us a new thing and saying, oh, this is what you have to do now, or no, now you're going to do this specific area but not this area. So you just gotta accept the fact that things aren't always going to be the same and be able to move on and accept the new thing as it is. Pretty simple. While I was there, the majority time people would just kind of ignore my presence, like I was invisible, and do their own thing, which is perfectly fine. You know, I'll do my work, they can do their stuff, whatever. But the people who did talk to me were usually polite, if not like just nice in general. So that isn't really like real life, because in real life there's going to be people who are jerks to you. But somehow I didn't have to deal with that, which was nice. But be ready for when you do have to work like that. So this one's a little more job specific, but there's blue latex gloves that you have to wear. Get really gross if you wear them for a long time, and they just feel really weird on your hands because like all the sweat and hand juices and stuff get all in there and it's all tight and so it's just gross if you wear them for a long time, so don't do that. That's not going to apply to your everyday life, I'd assume, but if you have to wear them for like chemistry or something or biology, now you know, take them off as soon as you can. This is not a fun feeling. It's just slimy and gross. Also, I learned that it seemed like in general the higher ups didn't really think about us or like care too much, although they didn't care at all, because that's like really like, dark sort of thing. But they didn't seem to really think about us a lot when they made decisions. Like they'd hire new people and not tell us until the day before they got here, or they'd be like changing something and wouldn't let us know. They'd let other people know in the building, just not us, which was kind of a pain sometimes. They just weren't really good at keeping us in the loop, and that could kind of happen in almost any situation where there's a tier of people or a pyramid sort of deal. So that's not great, but you can work with it more or less. Lastly, I learned that in the cafeteria, the music that the cafeteria workers play when they're cleaning can sometimes eerily relate to my life, such as the day after the Lady Gaga Baby Metal concert, they were playing Baby Metal, which was weird because I wouldn't expect anyone there to know them, but they just played some. And so that was kind of cool, kind of weird. And then last week, the week before, when I was watching Teen Titans a lot, I finished the entire season, and the day after I finished the series, they played the Teen Titans theme song while they were cleaning. And I was very confused of how they kept picking songs that literally were related to what I did the night before. It kind of was weird, but kind of cool, I guess. Because I was like, this was me yesterday. But that's not going to be a normal thing in your life, I'd assume. Unless you live in a musical or something. But I learned that, so now you learned it too. So that's what being a custodial worker taught me. Now you know too. We're in the same boat for our knowledge of being custodians. How fun. If you're thankful for that, be sure to like the video. Share it if you want your friends to be in the little know-how group as well. And be sure to subscribe. Come back next week and there will be a video this time. I promise. So, don't worry.